Could you tell us who you are and what you do for a living?
My name's Cathy Eastburn and I run a charity called Good Vibrations, which does gamelan workshops in prisons and secure hospitals and also in the community with ex-offenders.
Before we go to your charity, when did you hear gamelan for the first time?
I think the first time I heard gamelan consciously was when I did my first class here at the Southbank. I signed up for evening classes, beginners' evening classes, about 15 years ago. So I think that was the first time I'd actually heard it.
And then how did you feel playing with the group?
I can actually remember the first class because we were taught a basic lantern, and I remember sitting there playing a saron and having to damp the notes and finding it really difficult, but at the same time just being completely blown away by the sound of the gamelan instruments, this kind of physical sound all around me, this sort of tangible sound, and just thinking it was amazing and never heard anything like it. And I knew immediately it was something that I was going to really get into.
So because of that sounds you interested, or that sounds inspired you to learn gamelan even more?
Yes, yeah, I actually knew from that first class, I remember thinking I found something really good here and I think I'm going to stick with this and enjoy it.
So you continued with that class?
Yeah, because it was quite a random thing, me signing up for this evening class. I really had no idea what gamelan was. I think I answered an ad in the Guardian Guide. I think there was an ad that said something like, "Do you want to learn to play gamelan?" And just something in me went, "Yeah, why not? Give it a go." So I'd sort of just signed up at random for this beginner's evening class. But just from the first class, I just realised it was something very special that made me feel good when I did it and that I could enjoy for a long time.
So after that class, did you join any community group? Or?
Well, that was a term of beginners classes every week. And I just carried on after that. Every term I'd sign up for a new term, and I progressed from beginners to intermediate or whatever, and to more advanced over the years. And always at the Southbank, really. And then eventually joined Southbank Gamelan Players, which is the performing group that's based here at the Royal Festival Hall. And since then have played occasionally with other groups as well.
Have you ever been to Indonesia?
Yes, twice. Only for very short times, both times just for a month. And I've been to Java, to solo in Java, and just spent time soaking up the atmosphere, having a few lessons, playing a bit, going to performances and wayangs.
Have you ever played with a group performing with a group in Java?
Yes, a few times. I've been roped in to play something, yeah.
How did you feel?
It's mostly been great. It's quite nerve-wracking because obviously you're surrounded by people that really know what they're doing, and it can feel a bit kind of overwhelming. But I found everybody there is very welcoming, and you feel quite comfortable. Well, I felt quite comfortable there, even though sort of flailing around a bit, not quite understanding what was going on quite a lot of the time. Everybody's very warm and appreciative. So yeah, it's always been enjoyable.
So how is it different from playing with the Southbank Gamelan Players? Because obviously most of them are from here.
Well, I think the level of experience and musicianship is really, really high in a lot of the groups in Java, just because they've been doing it and listening to it their whole lives. Whereas here, even the most experienced players, if they're British, have probably only discovered gamelan quite late in life. and it's not surrounding us every day of the week. It's something that we just do once or twice a week. So just the level of knowledge and experience is just amazing over there. So when you're playing in a group like that, on the one hand you feel, well, I feel a bit like, you know, I'm conscious of my lack of experience, but also you feel very supported by the other players. So they can sort of guide you and help you as the music goes along, which is really helpful.
When you joined the Southbank Gamelan Players, the group was already there, and who were there?
The group was already existing. It had been around for a long time before I joined it. I'm not sure how many years. The group was, well, quite a lot of the people in the group at the time are still in the group now. So people like Pete Smith, John Pawson, Andy Channing, you know, others that are still in the group. Some of them I knew already because they'd been my teachers. Some of them I hadn't met before.
How did you manage to get in to the group? I heard it was very difficult to get in because the group are very advanced.
I think I kind of wangled my way in. It was a bit. I think the story is that I was wanting to apply for a Dharma Siswa scholarship, which is an Indonesian government scholarship that enables people from other countries to go to Indonesia and study for 6 months or a year or whatever. And quite a lot of people from this country go over there on a Dharma Siswa scholarship to study gamelan, and that's what I really wanted to do. And I'd sort of chatted to a few people here, teachers, and they'd sort of suggested that I should join Southbank Gamelan Players to get more experience of playing before I went to Java. So I think I just chatted to the right people. I don't think my playing was really up to scratch particularly. But they let me join the group anyway. And yeah. And then in the end I didn't go to Indonesia with the Dharma Siswa after all. I got the scholarship but was unable to go for sort of family reasons. So I just sort of stuck around here and carried on in the group.
Do you play other instruments at all?
No, I did. When I was little, I learnt the piano quite seriously for quite a few years, and played the violin a bit, very unsuccessfully when I was young. Recorder at school, but I hadn't. When I started gamelan night classes, I hadn't played any music for 15 years. Yeah, 15 years or so.
How do you think is it different playing Western instruments than gamelan?
Well, I can really only speak from my experience. For me, although playing the piano, I was quite good at it technically, it never really felt like it meant anything in a way. And with gamelan, one of the things gamelan has given me is a kind of just a love of music, really. Not just gamelan music, but music generally. So it's something about the music, playing gamelan music just touches me more than playing piano ever did.
How do you feel playing in a group, playing gamelan in a group? The magical thing about gamelan is you feel like you're part of a group, you feel connected to other people, so it gives you that feeling of connection with others. So you're just aware of the other players in the group. And, you know, usually it's a really, really good, happy feeling. Not always. Sometimes it can be a real struggle. But generally, yeah, it's a really sort of positive feeling of being part of a group, creating something as a group together, being aware of others, sort of fitting in what you're doing with what other people are doing. and creating a really beautiful sound together. It's not just coming from you, it's from everybody together. And it's quite, you know, at its best, it transports me onto a different planet, really. Yeah.
And so you've been performing with Southbank around Europe?
Yeah. We just got back from Italy, actually, a couple of weeks ago. We were doing a concert there with an electronica group or duo called Plaid, 2 British musicians who do sort of experimental techno type stuff. So we've been working quite a lot with them, collaborating with them. We've done quite a few gigs with them. Went to Italy with it, which was really good fun.
Sounds great.